Thank you, Tony, and thank you to everyone for being here. As Tony said, my name is Karina Ruiz. I am with the Arizona Dreamer Coalition. I got involved in 2012 when DACA started to be implemented. I was born in Mexico City. I came to the United States at the age of 15 years old. My parents brought me here looking for a better future for a family. In Mexico, there's a lot of discrimination when people are older to be able to find jobs. And my parents are older, so they face that discrimination in trying to find jobs and being able to provide for myself. So they decided to leave everything behind and look for a better future in another place that they didn't know. My sister is also living here in the United States. She came a year before we came, escaping domestic violence with her 5-year-old son at the time. The reason why I tell you this is because I want the American public to understand why people come here. And sometimes they're pushed to break laws that could be unjust, and that sometimes are not made for people that have situations as harsh as domestic violence, somebody that fears for their life, or somebody that's looking for a better future. This topic of immigration should be addressed with compassion. When I got here, I was devastated because I left everything behind. I was 15, I had friends, I already had a life in Mexico, but I followed my parents because I trusted that they knew what was best for me. When I came, I was gonna work, and I found out that I couldn't work until I was 16. So the only other thing that I could do was go to school. I started going to school, and I wanted to make my parents proud because of all the sacrifices that they made. When we crossed the border, they realized that we risked our lives. They didn't know that before. I recently asked my mother, why did you put me through the danger that we faced in the border? And she looked at me in the eyes and she told me, I didn't know we were gonna face all of the dangers we faced when we crossed the border. And this is the reason why I don't want your siblings to go through that journey again. And this is the reason why my parents have made a decision to not hug or kiss my sister and my other 2 brothers or their kids in 18 years. This problem is not about laws. This problem is about families, about people, about lives. I was very upset yesterday about the way that Mr. Sessions addressed the issue of dreamers, speaking about compassion, when the actions that they're taking do not show any regard for our lives. We are dreamers. We have the hopes for a better future, and the only reason why we come here, as you can see, young people, is to go to school, get educated, contribute to society, and do better, not just for ourselves, but for all of those around us. I graduated from Sunny Slope High School in 2003. I was accepted to Arizona State University. My dream was to become a scientist, a biochemist. In 2009, due to Proposition 300, I had to drop out of school, or leave school, for 4.5 years because I could not afford to pay 3 times the tuition. Even though I was undocumented, and I'm still undocumented, I found ways of working and paying for my school. I did not take the opportunities or the scholarships from anybody. I did not take any jobs from anybody. I looked harder with fear because I didn't have the same opportunities that someone that shows an ID has to look for any job they want. I was limited in my resources and the jobs that I could do. But I didn't let that discourage me or the fear. I had a goal in mind, and that goal was to graduate from school to make my parents proud. I told my parents, I'm gonna leave school, but my dream is gonna be there, and I'm gonna achieve it one day. After I got into the movement, I found that there's people and organizations like Promise that supports people like me. I found out that I was not alone, and that there was 11 million people like me. In the state of Arizona, 28,000 dreamers like myself. And I felt empowered to go out and to seek answers. And if there were no solutions from politicians, we were going to make things happen. We took our empowerment in our hands, and thanks to many dreamers that came out of the shadows, in 2012 we achieved DACA. That was a victory that our community made. Nothing was given to us. President Obama didn't think that he could give that relief. And dreamers like myself gather attorneys and show him that he could do it. And it is today that I stand here with the hope that we're going to also organize and show Congress that they have the power to give a permanent solution. Long story short, I graduated in 2015 from ASU with a biochemistry degree, 12 years later. It didn't matter how long it took. It was a goal I had because I owe it to my parents. I owe it to my community. To the future young students that think that their future does not have any value with the words that we heard yesterday. But today I tell those students, yes, your life has value. You have dignity. We are all sons and daughters of God. I am a very faithful woman, and I believe that God will not take DACA, let people take DACA away without giving a better solution for us. We have to do our part. So I ask the community to get involved, to get organized with community leaders like Promise Arizona, like Arizona Dreamer Coalition and other organizations, so that we can tell our stories to politicians so that they can make better decisions about our lives. Thank you very much.